Welcome to the Rural Pastor Podcast with your host, Pastor Andy Addis.
You plant the seeds in the ground, though the fields have long been brown. But Lord, when will your harvest come in? You're giving all you've got to give in the place where you've been sent. But will this labor make much difference in the end? Will no one ever know? Sometimes you feel so all alone. Like the prophet Jeremiah, you may be the one to go to the dying and the broken with a message of hope. To that church on the corner of that forgotten little town, with a room of empty pews where his love can still be found. You may never know of all the seeds you sow, but it just takes one willing soul to make him known.
Well, greetings, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of the Rural Pastor Podcast. I am so excited to bring you the content that we have today. Why? Because number one, we're on location at the annual meeting of the Southern Baptist Convention in Orlando. And you might be thinking, so what big name denominational leader, what pastor do you have? Even better, more important than all that, we are going to do an episode dedicated to the family side of ministry. And I am sitting across from a trio of siblings that have grown up in ministry household, and we're going to talk about the importance of intentionally understanding that we're raising one another up and being a family in that ministry mindset. I'm so excited about this. So I'm going to do an overview of the family. I'm going to ask you to introduce yourselves by your name, your age, and what you're going into next, like year of school or what like just who you are. But this is the Stewart family, and Jimbo and I have been coworkers and friends forever. That's Dad, right? Yep. And he's been an employee with the North American Mission Board. He is a church planter, a replanter. You guys have known what it's been to be in ministry for a long time and in many different contexts. So let's just start over here. And again, name, age, and what grade or what challenges are right in front of you.
I am Magnolia Stewart. I'm 14 and I'm going into my freshman year.
Freshman year. And here's what you need to know about Magnolia. Not shy in any way, shape, or form. Very much, this whole crew has personality, but I think she can take the cake sometimes.
Yes,
Okay. Okay. Keep going down the line.
All right, my name is Cash Stewart. I am 16 years old, and next fall I will be going into my junior year.
Junior year.
My name is Trip Stewart. I am 19 years old, and I'm going into my freshman year of college.
Freshman year of college. Where are you going?
William Carey University.
Oh, it's going to be great. Now, that's got history for your family, too, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Both my parents are alumni from William Carey, and that's where they met.
Yeah. And did they get married before they got out of college?
No, they got married after college.
Okay, so they were college sweethearts. Yeah, very good. Well, we're not here to talk about them. I want to talk about you guys, because here's what I know. You guys are in lots of activities that you do all kinds of things that are up front and serve behind the scenes. You're pretty amazing, and I'm not just patting you on the back for a podcast. The reason I asked you guys to do this is something has happened in your world that has made you functional human beings, even coming out of that ministry environment. So tell me just a little bit about this. And you can, whoever wants to answer first, and we don't have to answer all of them together, but just have everyone contribute. A little bit about what ministry life has looked like in your family. So big umbrella, what's it been like, if you had to describe it to somebody who didn't grow up this way, growing up in a ministry household?
I'll take that one. So my dad, first ministry he was involved with was youth ministry in New Orleans. And I'm probably the only one who remembers that one. But it was a lot of times us just hanging out with a lot of the youth. And we were the babies at the church. And so that was a lot of fun. But I basically remember just growing up running around the church. And then we moved to Florida, and my dad was a pastor. And since we were homeschooled, a lot of our classes were just in the preschool or just in random offices throughout the building. And so growing up at the church, you just get to see all the inner workings of it.
Yeah, even from scrubbing toilets, we were the ministry family, but we were also the janitors.
So you were involved in ministry life as well. Was that a positive? Was that a negative? It can be both. Maybe some days it was, some days it wasn't.
I would say it is both. I mean, I definitely vividly remember being pulled out of class many times to help the new kids get moved into the environment, especially people who were afraid. And I remember many things like that, but I also remember the joys of it, just getting to run around. And there was an empty office that I would always sit in, and it was my office.
That's awesome. That was awesome. So how about this? I forgot to ask this up front, I'm assuming, but did you all grow up believing, and are you still believers today?
Yes. So whenever we were born, we were obviously born into the ministry because our dad was a youth pastor. And so whenever we moved to Florida, we just continued that as he became the head pastor of a church down there. And so we grew up in the nursery, we grew up in the children's ministry, ended up going to youth. And so we've never really known what it's like to not have a church life, but I can 100% say our lives have been hugely impacted positively by the church. And I don't think we would be the people we are today without knowing God.
Hey, that's awesome. Now, when you say positively impact, give me some examples, as you can think of them, of moments or times that you looked at your life and went, this is a pretty good life to have. You know what I'm talking about? Something that you just, I know I've talked to ministry kids before, and they're like, well, the fact that I have access to the church refrigerator makes me very happy.
That was pretty cool. We always had ice cream.
Yes. But I think the church is a very helpful way to gain friends, gain mentors, wherever you go. Because whenever you go to church, at least fingers crossed, hopefully, you'll be meeting good people, and you'll be meeting people who will lead you in the right direction, people who are on the same path as you. And so if you surround yourself by people who are invested in learning more about God, then you'll inevitably learn more about God in yourself too.
A really cool thing about being able to see people behind the scenes is that you get to see just how strong of Christians they are and just the way that they live life, not just how they are at church.
That's great. That's great. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And because of those mentors, for me, I've always found a great sense of peace because of Christ too. Just knowing that even in the crazy times, because when you're a pastor's kid, you get to see all the crazy times of the church and all the behind the scenes, the good and the bad sometimes.
That's right. You get the full show of what's going on. Now, how did you endure that and still come out positive? Because in ministry, it's not always positive, right? There's some ups and some downs, some difficulties. How did you and your family navigate that when there was conflict in the church or when there was difficulty that was going on? What were some of the ways that you look back and go, we're still healthy and happy today, even though we walked through that?
I think our parents did a really great job of shielding us from a lot of the bad and showing us and celebrating with us a lot of the greats.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, when there was conflict in the church, my dad would just leave it at the office, and he would come home with us and just hang out and play in the backyard. And then whenever there was something really amazing at the church, he would make sure to come and show us what beautiful thing God was working on.
Man, can I encapsulate that? Because I think that's really powerful. What you're saying is, Dad didn't bring home all the junk. Matter of fact, he made sure that home was not church 2.0, that it was your home. But when something great happened, you guys celebrated it. He made sure you saw it. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I think for a lot of pastors, it's really hard to separate work life and home life, since being a Christian is a part of your everyday life. Being the leader of a church is hard to not make a part of every single point. And so I think it's really cool the way that our dad definitely separated that and just shows us how much he loves us and definitely makes us his attention when he's at home.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. So you felt focused on it.
Yeah. And as we got older and we saw the conflict firsthand, he helped us learn how to navigate through it and how to not go to our immediate reaction or instincts, but rather go to Scripture and see what God says about the conflict and try and actually find out what God's plan is through this and how to see the good that can come from it.
Yeah, because you got older, you just saw stuff you probably didn't see when you were younger, and so he helped process through that with you.
Yeah.
If you're listening, make sure you understand. The reason we're having this conversation is that this is so that we can see in on a family that did some good things and learn from that. And mine are all out of the house, so there's some things I'm like, I wish I'd have done it that way. But I got grandkids now, and so it's still a learning pressure. How about this? I'm not trying to get you to go negative. I want to make sure that the door is open though. Did you ever feel as a ministry kid that there was pressure to act a certain way or to behave differently? Okay, tell me about that.
Yeah.
I think throughout being in a ministry, being a part of that family, it's really hard not to think, okay, people are looking at me, so that means I have to act a certain way. But I think a lot of times people view the ministry family and don't think that they are human too. And since they're like, oh, their dad's the pastor, so they're on another level. No, we sin just as much as everyone else. And so it's definitely, we're on a pedestal, which is, in certain ways, which we aren't, but we are. If that makes sense.
It does. It sounds like when you grew up, people were looking at you like, well, your dad's a pastor, so you're pastor light, right? You're the Kmart version of that. So you should be do people even know what Kmart is anymore? I'm sorry, that's an old reference.
No, we know. Yes.
But yeah, so there were expectations. Some people call that living in the fishbowl, right? Because it's like you're the family of fish, and everybody can look in and see what you're doing. How did you guys cope with that personally, and how did your parents deal with that to help you stay healthy and functional?
For me, that was something I struggled with a lot.
Really?
For a very long time, up until recently, I was getting really into my head because I felt like I had to be the perfect person. Because if I would just say I was an awful kid, then that would reflect poorly on my dad. And like, well, if his children are awful, why should I listen to him? Clearly, he's not doing something right. And something that helped me a lot with it was I wanted every single person to like me. Because if every person liked me, then I was doing something right. But what I realized was, looking at the Bible, everyone hated Jesus, and he was perfect. So if I was perfect and everyone liked me, then I clearly wasn't doing it right.
You're probably doing something wrong.
Yeah.
That's right. What a good word. Anything from you on growing up in that environment and how you how your parents or you learned to just deal with the fishbowl kind of life?
So in my younger years, I kind of was just very oblivious to it, and I was definitely one of the more wild of the bunch. But growing up and growing up, because finger quotes there, seeing how I can be an example for other kids, especially as the pastor's kid, it kind of dawned on me and the responsibility set in. So I have recently learned to view it not as something that is a pressure or a you have to do this right 100% of the time or else you're not being a good pastor's kid. Seeing it more as a responsibility.
Oh, wow.
And just taking that on myself and being like, okay, how are you going to represent your family in how you act behind closed doors and how you act in front of everyone?
Man, I love this. You guys have some wisdom beyond your years, and so that's why I'm glad we're capturing this. Let me ask, this is for mom or dad, because, dad had the job, but mom's in ministry too, because your whole family's in ministry. So either one of these, can you remember a moment when you were proud of your parents or either parent, a story you could tell, because you looked at them as a kid going, wow, that's the kind of leader I want to be, or that's the kind of leader that I think we can look up to. So now I'm getting outside of your world and saying, as you looked at mom or dad, what was something that marked you guys? You went, and it doesn't have to be a huge ministry moment, it just has to be something that you really remember.
Mine is kind of even behind the scenes. As we were growing up, our parents invested into us what they called the Stewart core values, which they definitely got from the Bible.
So you have family core values that are stated. That's okay, go ahead, sorry.
Respect, integrity, self-control, and joyfulness. So anytime we did anything wrong or in breaking the rules, we had to repeat that because we didn't have hard set rules, but oh, you never said that I couldn't do this bad thing, but does that have integrity? Does that have respect? And does that have self-control?
Wow.
And does that promote joyfulness?
And joyfulness is not only for yourself, but it is for others. And so that's how you need to be in front of people and when you're alone and when you're with your family.
Because that's what integrity is, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you literally are looking back, to answer this question, you're saying that because my family instilled core values that made sense, that is something that you look back on and go, wow, that's a great parenting move.
Yeah.
Man, I love that. Anybody else? What are some things you think about?
Yeah, so whenever I was thinking about answering this question, excuse me, my brain went back to how my dad treated the kids and the adults in the church pretty much as equals. No matter, the age gap didn't matter. And so he would treat someone the same if they were an adult or a kid. I mean, obviously there were like some boundaries to that. He wouldn't have like deep conversations with a 5th grader. But he wouldn't be like shooing them off. He would always take time for us, even when he was in church.
Oh, so the way he valued people.
Yes.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. And you saw that growing up even when you were younger.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
And then for me, it's always been my mom's servant leadership. No matter where she is in a room, she is always trying to figure out how to help. With all of our extracurriculars, she's driven us from Jacksonville to Palatka every day for...
Now, how far a trip is that?
That's about an hour, 30 minutes.
Oh, wow.
There, and then an hour, 30 minutes back. And then she would drive us and a whole bunch of our friends there. She would drive us all over Florida. Yeah. And whenever she would mop floors, she would clean toilets, she would lead a worship, she would do kids ministry. She did everything. And she always did it with a joyful heart.
Man, that's great. So you could like look back and think, my mom, whether she was on stage leading worship or scrubbing a toilet, she had joy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is one of your core values.
Yeah.
So, how great is that? Man, it's really good that you guys were able to see that. If there was something that you wanted the congregations that you're in, where your parents are leading, if you wanted them to know about your parents, that they may not know, but you say, hey, here's what we know about our parents, what would you want to say? Again, I'm giving you permission to say, hey, wake up. This is what you should know about my dad. This is what you should know about my mom.
So we, in the Stewart family, live a very stressful life and a very 100% all the time, no slowing down.
That is true. You guys are a wrecking ball of a family.
Yes.
There's always something going on.
So if you do see one of us, give us a hug and tell us that you're praying for us. And also just have patience when we do mess up, because it's gonna happen. And so just realize that we have a lot on our plates.
Yeah, so you want people just to recognize there's probably, what do they call it? A duck is calm on the surface but paddling like crazy underneath?
Yep.
That's the Stewart family? Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
I like the way that our parents live this out, but also taught us to handle conflict in life, because a lot of people, I feel like, jump to action once someone accuses them of something or something happens. But the way that our parents have taught us is to talk it over with your family and figure out the smartest way to go through something, not just to jump on your own action and on your own understanding, but to pray about it.
Wow.
Go to the Bible and figure out what biblically you do in this situation.
So you want people to know that your parents have taught you, and their pattern is not to be reactive, but to go to Scripture, go to prayer, and make that your first response. Man, that's good to hear. So when somebody from the church hears from your dad or your mom, they can know, because you've told them, that this didn't just come, that this is not a response or a reaction, that they have processed through this. That's really good.
And then alongside with that, they've also always taught us that you don't try to prove your answer right, but try to find the right answer.
Tell me what that means. That's good.
Basically, they're not trying to, a lot of times, hey, this is how you do it. This is my truth. This is how I want it to be done. But more so, they've tried to come up with the best answer and figure out it.
It's all about seeing things from both angles.
Perspective. Yeah, and seeing it. Man, it sounds like you guys got a pretty good growing up. I mean, you're still in the middle of it right now,
Yeah.
but that's some good stuff. By the way, for those of you who are listening and you don't get to see what I'm seeing right now, there's a level of conflict avoidance and the ability to manage conversations. They raise their hands when they want to be the next answer given. That's so awesome. Siblings, you're like, I'm in, I'm tagging in. It's been pretty good. Okay, just a couple more questions. And this one I think is super important. What do you want your parents to know that you think they may not know that's going on in your head and your heart? And this is, let me take that back. Not you guys to mom and dad, but ministry kids to minister parents. So we're being more general. So Jimbo, if you're listening to this, this isn't about you. This is about just from your perspective, what do you think ministry parents need to know that you can tell them growing up as ministry kids? What's some advice you could give upward?
For me, I think one of the things that I wish my dad would have worked on a little bit more, and he's really great at that now, but back when he was in ministry full-time being a pastor, we saw him more now than we do, but I knew him less. And the things I remember with him are not the massive trips as much as him just saying, hey, do you want to just go for a drive real quick?
Oh, yeah.
Or, hey, do you want to go grab something to eat? And so it's just the little things of just getting to hang out with him in little areas where it's just us.
So you don't need, again, I'm just trying to translate, make sure I hear this. You don't need monumental moments. The most important moments are the little ones in between.
The ones that are most intentional.
I love that. And to make sure you're the oldest, as you were just speaking, so that means you're the guinea pig. They were learning on you. So
Yes.
as you recognize it was an adjustment, I love that they didn't just stay the course because that's the way they were, but they adjusted and saw that need.
I'm pretty sure I saw that adjustment the least amount since I'm the youngest.
That's right.
But I still do remember a bit of it where my dad was learning how to balance work life with life. And so I really don't, I think a lot of people think if you have more time, then you're closer with your kids. But it's really, really, as you and he was saying, about intentionality and the way that you spend times. My dad just takes me to coffee shops every now and then, and those are some of my best memories, just trying different coffee. And it can take 10 minutes or an hour.
I love this. So again, I'm hearing it's not about let's do a road trip cross country. That's a great memory. But it's about let's take 10 minutes tomorrow, and next week let's do a half an hour car ride. It's about those, you're using the word intentional moments, and you recognize that. So good. We're putting you on the spot. You may agree. You may agree with what your siblings
Yeah,
said.
pretty similar to what my siblings said. I have a very distinct core memory of whenever I was going through a really stressful time, or as stressed as a 10-year-old can be. And I just felt so overwhelmed, and my dad was like, "All right, come on, get in the car." And so he played "Brother" by Need to Breathe, and that's just been such a core memory song for me, because the message from it is basically like, "Brother, let me be your shelter. Help, come to me, and so that we can process this and give it to God." And so he has this saying, it goes, never forget to empty your mental trash can, because whenever you have like bad thoughts, you just like throw them away, they're still in the back of your mind, and they're not going to go away until you empty your trash can.
Oh,
My mom bought me a miniature trash can when I was younger, and she would say, write down the thoughts that are scaring you, crumple them up and throw them in the trash can, and then she would throw them away by the end of the day.
was that helpful for you?
Yeah.
That's so good. So good. All right, I would like each of you to take a stab at this one. This is going to be our final question. By the way, you've done a fantastic job of helping pastors and helping families. I can't wait for this to come out. But here is an imagination question. You need to imagine a young pastor and his wife, and they have elementary age kids, so they're younger than you guys, right? They're getting ready to walk through all the things that you've done. What is one thing that you would offer them and say, as someone who's grown up through those years, here's what I'm not a parent, right? I'm not a pastor, but you in that role, as a kid growing up in that environment, what is one thing I would share with you? This would be a great thing to remember as you raise your kids. Like one piece of advice, one thing that is just top of mind for you guys.
For me, it would probably be to raise your kids like you want them to be your friends when they're older. Because the long-term goal isn't just to get them out of the house, get them married. The goal is to have a lifelong bond between a parent and a child, which is part of where the core values came from, the respect, integrity, self-control, and joyfulness. They saw what they wanted their friends to be like, and selfishly were like, okay, we're gonna raise our kids like that, so that we enjoy being around them. Because there are some households where the parents or the children do not like hanging out with the other, or vice versa.
Yeah,
so
like different worlds.
Yeah.
I love that. Now, when you said, what you weren't saying, I want to make sure, again, I'm translating, is that you're not encouraging parents to be friends, because you're saying they need to raise you.
Yes.
The hard work of, they have to be the parent, they have to do that.
Yeah.
But with the intention of saying, I want you to grow up into the kind of adult we would hang out with.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, that's
You
so
don't.
good.
Whenever you're their parent, you are their parent first, their mentor second, and their friend last.
Oh, wait. Mic drop moment. This is good. You guys all got one of these now. Say that again. There's 3 levels. It's parent first.
Yeah, so you're their parent first, then you're their mentor, and then you're their friend.
That's gold right there. If you didn't write that down, write it down. Okay, now for the other 2, think about this question. That young family with the elementary school kids, what would you want to tell them? How could you give them some advice?
There are so many things that I could say, but I'll stick to 2. Everyone deserves respect, not because of what they've done, but because of what God has done for them.
Ooh.
I feel like that's a really important thing to remember. They don't deserve respect because of what they've done to you, what they've done to others, but because God has done something for everyone.
So you respect not because of them, but because of the Lord. Good.
And then another thing would be stick close to your family when things are hard. Don't shelter yourself away, because it will not help anything. And going to your family will not only support you, but it will support them.
Oh, I love that. So the pressures, don't let them separate you, but draw you in. So good. So good. Yes.
And then a thing my parents did really well, especially what you need to do while your kids are that little, is they never forgot to go on dates. Because a lot of time marriages just stick around because they have kids. So you have to still love the person you're with through all that. And in the midst of ministry and raising little kids and all of that, it's very difficult a lot of times. But advice by parents we're given a lot was always remember to go on dates with each other.
I love that. But when they did that, when you guys were there, were you ever like, come on, we want to go, we want to have fun?
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
well,
as
still
little
to this
kids.
day.
Yeah. We're like, what do you mean we don't get the bread pudding?
Ministry is a roller coaster. It's supposed to be scary, but it's also meant to be fun.
I love it. You guys are a treasure. This is the Stewart clan, and I wish you had a chance to hang out with them, because they are top shelf, top tier. And what's really funny, again, no one can see this, Mom and Dad just walked in the back of the room. They're going to be so glad to hear this. What a blessing to have you guys here. Your words, your mic drops, your family experience is going to be nothing but helpful to those who are listening and getting ready to go through where you've been, and many blessings on you guys. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you who's listening, and may you reach out and be able to find some resources. Parenting for every parent is a new journey. Family for the first time around is always a new journey, and we can use the resources and help with one another. And that's why we're here to stand beside you. You're not alone, and thank you for doing what you do. We'll see you again real soon on another episode of the Rural Pastor Podcast.
Like the prophet Jeremiah, you may be the one to go to the dying and the broken with a message of hope. To that church on the corner of that forgotten little town, with a room of empty pews where his love can still be found. You may never know of all the It just takes one willing soul to make Him known.
Thank you for joining us on the Rural Pastor Podcast. Special thanks to Chosen Road for our incredible theme music and to 180 Digital for their corporate sponsorship and making all the technical things possible. Rural Church Leader, we want to remind you that your work is important, that you are important, and that you are not alone. See you again soon for another edition of the Rural Pastor Podcast.